This episode of the Calvin Childs Show podcast was brought to you by Fine Art Glam, fashion photography that defines style.
Your official resident. You ran off a lot of things. Gym steaks. In Philly they got the best steak place. This, that, and the other. Me prefer. I'm not crazy about the steak places or anything like that. Actually, I'm vegan. But when I
Okay.
actually used to live. I lived in South Philly. I think it was 6 in Reed or something like that. None of that cheese whiz or Swiss cheese.
Yeah, no.
None of that,
My
right?
brother loves cheese whiz. He would get the cheese whiz and the extra cheese on it, and I'm just like, I'm the white American cheese. But there's a couple places that I like. I know people are hardcore, diehard fans with a couple places. So I'm like, I like to try. I'm a big foodie. So if you look at my pages, you'll see I'll post for the holidays. I'll be cooking big meals. I love to cook. So I be trying to new recipes every holiday. I'll be like, I want to make this. I want to try like this now. I want to try like this now. So I'm all into trying different versions of stuff. But just to fall back on, I love the Amoroso roll. That type of roll is my favorite.
What part of Philly would you say? Was it South Philly, West Philly where you got started?
Well, it's actually funny. I relocated outside of Philly to because my mom's a minister. And my mom was always into putting me in, I did private school for a year or two, but she was always into putting God in my life and, having me in a Christian school or a charter school. So we ended up relocating to Lancaster, when I was a junior or senior in high school, to go to Lancaster Mennonite. My brother was a dorm student there, and then we just relocated. And so I ended up relocating to Lancaster, and then I started working in Baltimore, in New York, and in Philly.
Hello and welcome to the Calvin Childs Show. I'm Calvin Childs, and today my guest is in the building. This is Sarah Iaigarga, and she's going to help me pronounce her name right because I know I committed all kinds of crimes in the last couple seconds just trying to say it. But how are you, Sarah? Could you pronounce your name for everybody as well?
Yes, that's not a problem. Hi, everyone. I am Sarah Iaigarga. If you say it in the Spanish version, it's Iaigarga. But I was born and raised in Philly, so I got that Philly accent. Also known as Lady Fire when I do my poetry.
Okay, Philly. Really, I didn't know it was Philly. Okay. So, what was life like growing up in Philly, and what part of Philly were you in?
Okay, so I grew up in Southwest, kind of around East Wake, Limber Boulevard, and Vinoza, Bartram Village. I was a few blocks from there. So that's where I was, not so much as born. My mother's side, they're from kind of like West Philly. And then my dad, he kind of grew up around McDay Boulevard, around that area. But I grew up Southwest, but I was all over. I moved out on my own. I rented a room from a woman I used to babysit from. And, I did back in the day when they had check cashing places, you can get a non-government ID. So I worked at the gallery.
Okay,
I lived in North Philly for about 10 months. I lived in West Philly, right around 62nd and Collet Hill, 2 blocks from Gem Steaks. So yeah.
You always tell people you haven't lived in Philly until you lived in North Philly for 10 months.
Yes.
Okay, so you're an official resident, all right? You're official resident. You ran off a lot of things. Gym steaks. In Philly they got the best steak place.
Right. Yeah, I know. The one in I think the one in West Philly closed for a little bit. I heard it open back up, but I haven't been out there to visit to see. But yeah, I am in love with the Philly steaks that don't have seeds on the bread. Even though I have tried a couple places. Shout out to Stella's, and there's a couple. I'll be trying to hit new places all the time to see how their steaks are. And I love my steak with American cheese. I tried it with the Cooper, but I'm American white cheese and ketchup. Maybe some fried onions, maybe some peppers, but it's none of that marinara sauce. That's not a steak to me. That's
none of that cheese whiz or Swiss cheese.
Yeah, no.
None of that,
my brother loves cheese whiz. He would get the cheese whiz and the extra cheese on it, and I'm just I'm the white American cheese.
Do you have a favorite cheesesteak place?
Well, Jim's is my favorite. I would have to say it's probably because I grew up right by there. We lived around that area for about 2 or 3 years. So I was so used to, if I wanted a cheesesteak, I would just go right there. But there's a couple places that, I like. I know people are hardcore diehard fans with a couple places. I'm like, I like to try. I'm a big foodie. So if you look at my pages, you'll see like I'll post for the holidays. I'll be cooking big meals. Like I love to cook. So I'll be trying to new recipes like every holiday. I'll be like, I want to make this. I want to try like this now. I want to try like this now. So I'm all into trying different versions of stuff. But just to fall back on, I love like the Amoroso roll. Like that type of roll is my favorite.
Okay. Now that's a Philly thing, right? For sure. I see their trucks all the time, just riding through
Yes,
Philly.
they're so good.
So you mentioned many different parts of Philly. Which part did you get started your modeling career in? Which part did you say, you know what, this is where I kind of got started? If you could put a nail on it, what part of Philly would you say? Was it South Philly, West Philly, where you got started?
Well, it's actually funny. I relocated outside of Philly to because my mom's a minister, and my mom was always into putting me in, like, I did private school for like a year or two, but she was always into putting God in my life and, having me in a Christian school or a charter school. So we ended up relocating to Lancaster, like when I was a junior, senior in high school, to go to Lancaster Mennonite. Like my brother was a dorm student there, and then we just relocated. And so I ended up relocating to Lancaster, and then I started working in Baltimore, in New York, and in Philly. And the one thing about Lancaster is like the center for me. So it was good to go. Yeah. Like I went back to school in Philly. I went to college in Philly, the Art Institute of Philadelphia. I studied photography and I studied fashion marketing for a year. And then I transferred over to photography because I just had a passion for it. In high school, I did darkroom photography. I don't know if you can see some of the pictures behind me.
I see some of them beautiful pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have all my artwork decorating my walls, but I fell in love with photography. But I'm gonna be honest, it's because it's just like self-employment. You got to find your own clients. You got to really motivate yourself and stuff like that. And I like that, but I also like consistency. So, I work for the community, but I still do my photography on the side. And when I started doing that, I did a lot of behind the scenes. I did some film work, and I would take photos with events, fashion shows. And I said, what, I really want to be on the other side of the camera. So I started modeling when I was located in Lancaster, but I did, I've done Philly Fashion Week. I've done New York Fashion Week. I am just starting to get into DC Fashion Week. So I'm going to try and do that show this year. So their casting's coming up. So I got to get there, I think the 7th of January. So I started modeling when I was technically living in Lancaster, but I've done films. I also like do acting and stuff. So I work in Philadelphia. I would say like at least once a week. I'm even before I did the modeling and acting, I was in Philly 2 or 3 times a week. That's where my family is. I'm always down there visiting them, seeing my dad and stuff. So it's just me in Lancaster still. Like my brother moved to LA. He lives in California. He works for Google. So he was like the head of networking and security for YouTube for a little bit. I think now he's doing something different. He's starting his own app. So he's doing a lot of stuff. And then my mom relocated back to Philly when I was in college. So, like I said, I commuted to Philly every single day for college. But I met my daughter's father, who sadly passed away when she was a baby. He lived in Westchester. And I was in Lancaster, and so I would kind of like travel to Philly, and we would like date while I was traveling. But yeah.
Those who don't know, Lancaster is about an hour and 15 minutes away from Philly.
Oh, it's like an hour and 50. It's like close to 2 hours.
It's like close to 2 hours? Okay, well, maybe
like an hour 40, depending on where you're going in Philly.
That's true. Yes. So, all right. So you were in Lancaster, which is close to Baltimore, which is close to Delaware. Is it close to Delaware?
It is. I mean, like, and it's close to Jersey. I mean, like, I can get anywhere in under, like, straight up hour and a half. I can be in Philly. And Baltimore, I'm like an hour, 10 minutes away. I'm a lot close. I'm like an hour from Baltimore. I'm a lot closer to there. I do a lot of work in Baltimore. Baltimore, I think, is like got a lot of artists. That's where I perform most of my poetry at.
So what came first, photo shoots or runway?
That depends on what I was, if I was like being photography or if I was a model.
So when you kind of got started, just as a model, what came first?
As a model?
Photo shoots or?
Honestly, I would say photo shoots because I did a lot of more photo shoots as like a model when I was like in college with like, like us photographers, we're always trying to expand our portfolio, and you work a lot for published work as like, especially if you're starting out in modeling, you never really want to pay for someone to take your photo unless you're doing an actual test shoot or you're doing portfolio work where you are literally just starting out, you have no photography friends, you don't know anyone, and you want to get some professional like headshots done. That's what I would say you should think about paying for it, because you want to get the professional headshots done. You don't even need professional digitals. That's just you in front of a white screen. But like actual headshots done, you need to work with someone that knows what they're doing. So unless you have like really good in with a photographer that does professional headshots, pay for that. And I don't mean like pay an arm and a leg. No, you can get good headshots done for like under 200. Like that's kind of what I'll like for my headshots. When I charge people, it's roughly about like 300. And, sometimes I work out deals with people if they're trying to do more portfolio work, but you can definitely get a photographer to help you expand your portfolio, because one, they need to be paying models because especially if they're expanding their portfolio, they should be paying the models and vice versa. So if you can work with someone that you give them, you pose for them, they give you good photos. So you're basically helping each other out. But for me, the photo shoots came first and then runway. Cause you gotta get some training in your walk. So you gotta know what you're doing. Where like posing, you can, you're kind of just going with the flow. You're, say you're trying to model the outfit, you're trying to do the theme, whatever you guys are trying to go for. So whereas runway is not just about modeling the outfit, it's like having that confidence in your walk. And I always tell people, think to yourself, I'm going to break these shoes, because when you're scared to break your shoes, you don't have the confidence. So you're just thinking like, I'm going to break these shoes in this walk. Like they'll make it, but you got to have the confidence.
Trust me, we're going to ask all the questions. So just let me.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I talk too much. I always get excited. I'm just like,
Trust me, I'm very good. So with the photo shoots, all right. So you kind of got started. How old were you when you got started?
Oh, I just tell everybody I'm 22. That's my legal age. So I say I'm legal.
But when you got started, your first photo shoot, how old were you?
Probably like 17.
Okay. All right. So you were 17. Your first photo shoot. Can you tell me about your first photo shoot you did with a photographer? Where was it? Was it in the rain? Was it outside? Did it snow that day? Was it anything abnormal about it? Were you scared?
So I would definitely say it was probably when I was like in college. I worked with a professor of mine. She was so amazing, Leah McDonald. She works off of like darkroom photography. She teaches digital, but she does a lot of darkroom. And it was like a really artsy type thing. Like she had flowers, and it was just like lace. It was like a really artistic approach. I believe we did a setup in her garage. She kind of lived in Philadelphia, like on the outskirts of the city, like Center City. And it was, I think that was one of my very first professional photo shoots that I ever did. And she asked me to model because she loved my cheekbones, my neck bones. They're very predominant, so my bone structure. And I was like, oh, I would love to model for you. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice. That's nice. So let me ask you, have you, I'm just really want to talk about the photo shoot journey. So when you did your photo shoots, have you ever shot on the beach? You ever do a beach photo shoot? Okay. What was that? How was that?
It was a lot of fun. So I have done swimwear, and then there were some where we did some dresses. I will say this: if you're shooting for swimwear, a lot of times you're not in season because you're shooting outside of season for something. So the water might not be that warm. you gotta like. Huh?
No. Go ahead, finish.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so the water is not that warm. It's going to be very kind of chilly. That's where they say like the acting comes into the model. Like you really do gotta, act like it's warm, like you're comfortable, it's like sensual, so you got to have fun, especially if it's like a commercial photo shoot. You're not just like posing, like it's not like what is it, the swimwear magazines, we're just getting a sexy pose. Like, no, commercial work, you're kind of like doing a theme. So, it's like enjoyable. It's everyday people. When you think of commercial work, it's not high fashion. So, you really want to act like you're enjoying yourself. You're enjoying your time at the beach. You're having fun. But it was a lot of fun. We go in the morning because you don't have a lot of people around. Even in the wintertime, people are on the beach. So you want to get there where there's not, unless you want people in the shoot, that's what they're going for. But if you're trying to do something where it's just you and not many background, you're going to go kind of like during certain times of the day. And as we all know, in the morning, it's a little more chilly, even in the wintertime, even in the summertime.
What was there a brand or designer that you was doing the swimsuit shoot for?
It was more designers. So I don't really do it's not, and I say this, like I just started professionally modeling, I would say the last 2-3 years now. So I was always like a photographer. I was always behind the camera. But professionally, I haven't done like any campaign work. So I haven't shot for, say like Hanes or anything like that, like an actual name brand campaign, but for like designers that will do their runway shows or different things. That's really what I chose for.
Yeah, the photo shoot you did on the beach, was it for a designer? And if so,
Yeah, it was for designers. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember their names. I know it was some time ago. You recall?
Yeah. So let's see. The one I did, I met her at Atlantic City Fashion Week, and I did one of her. It was like a blue bikini, kind of like a thong bikini, very first thong bikini I ever wore. Nicole Dreams, that was her brand. She actually does a lot of different type of work. She does cosplay, and she also does like pageant dresses. She did a lot of pageant wear for like teens. And then I met her though when she was doing her swimwear stuff, when she just started getting more into that. So that was one designer. Let's see. And then there was another one I did. I was actually just being a model for a photographer, and he supplied all the clothes. So that's another thing. Like a lot of photographers will be like, hey, I want to put a shoot together, and they'll just reach out to different designers, and they'll come together with like a, like what the beach, like the theme, the location, all that stuff. So I didn't really know any of the designers personally or specifically who they were. But they brought the clothes, and then, we had a little changing station and the makeup and stuff. So I just kind of posed for what the photographer put together. And that, I think we did a couple bathing suits. We did, I think, one bathing suit and 2 dresses on the beach for that one.
Do you know that I'm a photographer?
Yes, I do. I know. When we met, I think we mentioned that. I was like, I have to do photography too.
It was like 25 years. I've been doing it for quite some time. All right.
Okay.
So
I can't tell you how long I've been doing it because no one knows my real age. No, just kidding.
I won't ask. So what other kind of photos? When I say photo shoots, I'm talking about you as a model. I'm talking about you as a model now. Have you did, let's say, any mansion shoots?
Mansion, yes. I did a mansion shoot for a photographer, and I did some outfits from Malcolm Staples. He does a lot of like elegant high fashion wear. So we did a mansion. It was right outside of Philadelphia. It was like off of a college campus, but they have a mansion on site. So we did one of theirs there.
What about metropolitan areas? You do any metropolitan New York City downtown shoots or Philadelphia downtown shoots or anything like that where you were outside in a busy scene as a model? Have you did any shoots like that?
Yes, I have. So there was a photographer I worked with about 2 years ago. I'm sorry, his name is not coming to me right now. And it was in New York. We did a couple busy shoots off of there, kind of like the bridges and a couple right under the bridge where there was like traffic all around. We did something. He supplied the outfits too. So we did, I think it was like more elegant wear, kind of high fashion, but it was like elegant. We did hats and the, fancy pinup type, not pinup, I'm saying that wrong, but it was like the fancy kind of like sophisticated, form-fitting stuff. Like some modest, nothing that was like scandalous. So I did there. In Philadelphia, there is a photographer that I love working with, and we had just haven't been able to get together to collab. Joseph Simpson. He does a lot of stuff. He gets a lot of our stuff published into magazines and I'm talking about like pretty decent magazines where photographers will, submit work, but they're kind of selective with who they pick. And I think some of the stuff we did, because when I work with him, I wear a lot of Malcolm stuff. Malcolm, he's based out of DC, but Joseph, he's based out of Philadelphia. So we're trying to get together because he does a lot downtown, kind of like where the city hall is in Philly. And he'll actually get you in front of the street. So we've been trying to put one together for a little bit, but my schedule has been a little crazy. So we just haven't been able to do it, but yeah.
So have you did any, I guess I want to say, have you did any outrageous photo shoots where it was extremely elaborate, in a cave or in like some real funky place or anything like that?
Yeah, so there was one photographer that I worked with. He was in New York. I would say probably like 2 years ago. I don't know, is he based in Philadelphia? But we did the photo shoot in New York, and he put like it wasn't a mask, but it was like a black stocking that was like fishnet, and he put it over my face. Like I had a makeup artist that was there. They did my hair and everything. Like put like a ponytail weave, and he does like a lot of edgy work. We did it was a classy outfit, but the way that he put the mask on my face and the way that he did my hair, it was really edgy. So he was trying to pull something that was more editorial. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, like I know I do a lot of different versatile shoots because I want to kind of like be like, oh, I can do this. To me, that's the accomplishment, is doing that type of work.
Go back to where you did the photo shoot on the bridge. I just want to ask you, did you stop traffic?
No, we did it where it was pedestrian traffic, which was good. So we didn't have to really like worry about cars per se. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So I just want to put this out there to everybody that you are the current Miss Pennsylvania. Can you explain that? And I know I might have messed up which version of it is, but if you can explain that and how you won the title and what you stand for. I know in most cases, all the Miss Americas, they kind of stand for something in the community. And you want to elaborate on that?
Yes. So I'm happy that you mentioned that. I actually have my crown and sash right here. So I'm Mrs. Pennsylvania American. There's 3 different categories. There's Mrs. Pennsylvania American, and Miss Pennsylvania for America Strong. So I am Mrs. Pennsylvania American 2025. So we did our finals up in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I didn't make it to Mrs. World, but maybe next year. So my platform I stand for is offering individuals and families within the community RAPS services, basically support so they can achieve whatever their goals are for self-sufficiency. So if it's, I was a caseworker for a very long time, roughly even close to a decade. And I also worked as a housing advocate for the community, for the domestic violence services with the Community Action Partnership. And just understanding that a lot of people, they go to the county office as like their first place when they have questions or need things, they go there. And I always consider that office the last resort because the income limits, everything are very low compared to other places. And a lot of people don't know where to turn. So I would put templates together for individuals that wanted to go to college. I hate hearing it. That's why I am starting my own nonprofit called Sea Dream, where individuals that are either aging out of the foster care system get support to continue living their lives so they don't have to return to a home that abused them or they were taken from. They can be self-sufficient on their own. But, a lot of people don't know how to go to college. So I put templates together to help them find schools, find the funding, either federal private loans or just grant scholarships were to turn for that. Also where to buy a home, how to rent a home if needed, how to get employment, services like that. You know, also how to build your credit. Because a lot of people don't realize just to rent an apartment, you need to have amazing credit sometimes. And it's very hard to navigate the economy with one type of support. So you need support in multiple areas to achieve just living. It's very hard to get things done. And I always want to be that support that gives people those resources to get those things that they need to just be able to accomplish what they want to accomplish in their life.
We're going to pause for a minute and take a commercial break. All right. And so what was it like being Miss Pennsylvania America for this whole year? So was it a lot of assignments you had? Was it a lot of outreach you did? Tell me about one or two of the projects.
Yes. So I will be honest, a lot of more of the events I consider them a lot more fun. Even though we do kind of like help our community when it comes to like fundraising. Like I did a lot of, let's see, things that when I was a part of my union as well. So it's not so much as added more stuff. We're still doing kind of things that we were before we got crowned. But after I got crowned in June, so I will be passing my crown off in June of 2026. And I would say recently, this last month or two, there's a lot more parades that we were doing. We're going up to New York because we are going to be on the billboard in Times Square for New Year's. I believe we're going to be on there for a whole day. It's going to start about 11 p.m. the day before New Year's Eve. So me and the other fellow queens we all get taken up to New York so we can do like a live feed with all of us on the billboard. So it's a lot of fun events. But you know, we also do, let's see, we kind of like do our appearances at not only places for our agency or our manager, but also kind of like for ourselves. Like I did an event at my church. It was technically my mother's church, Philadelphia, but I do go there on my own. Let's see, they did a Christmas event. So I was there also taking photos because I volunteered to take the photos for everyone. It was like a kid seeing Santa. It was like a kid teen event. They did a little runway show too for the teens. So it was a lot of fun. And I just kind of made my appearance and, you know, took pictures and shook hands. Also, some of the other events, you know, depending on if we're available, they'll do like news segments. Sometimes we'll do a lot of, honestly, more modeling gigs than most that I see. We'll get asked to, you know, be in a runway show. I did get asked to speak at a show it was actually in Maryland, which is really cool because I know a lot of people in Maryland and DC and stuff. So I kind of don't just do stuff in Pennsylvania.
Right. When you are wearing the slash, did a little girl ever come up to you and say, "Can I have your autograph?"
I would say it's more like a picture. They kind of want to do pictures with us, which is fun. Like we did, me and the other Pennsylvania queens, we went to have tea with some people, and you know there was a lot of people there, so we took photos with some of the girls and some of the people that were there. So it's more photos. I feel like nobody wants autographs anymore. They want photos. Yeah, it's like how everyone does things up in the day. We didn't have cameras on the phone, so it's like I needed an autograph to prove I saw you. Now it's like I need the picture.
So speaking of pictures, let's talk about your photography. Let's start. What are you, Nikon, Canon, or Sony?
Okay, so my digital, I use a Canon Rebel T2i, and then my film, I use a Nikon N65. So I still have the same Nikon that I got in college, and I can't get rid of it. I actually got it secondhand at a thrift, what do you call those? A
Thrift
pawn shop.
stores?
Yeah, no, a
Phone
pawn
shops,
shop.
that's all.
Yeah, because I was looking for a really good a film camera, and I was like, oh, I found the perfect one. It had like a whole bunch of films and lenses, and so I still use that. It shoots amazing. And I also use a view camera. I love my view camera. Oh my gosh, I use it's a 4x6 view camera. So yeah, that's my baby. I
You know,
these.
it's funny.
Mhm.
It's funny because now I remember I used to want a Mamiya. I think it's RB645 or something like that. I don't even remember that camera. I can get one now because it's a film camera. You know, just develop it yourself,
Mhm.
and you be on to something. So yeah, some of those older cameras are still really good cameras, but you got to
Yeah,
just find a place to do
right.
the
I use the
developing.
camera for my view camera, the lens.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're from Philly or lived in Philly, that means you went to Mid City Camera at one point and got your film and stuff developed. Did you use them?
Well, actually, I developed it all myself. So
Oh,
my
yeah.
college, yeah, which is funny because my college and my high school, they both had a dark room. So that's why I said my dream is to have my own dark room. Like I love it. And then, after I kind of graduated college, and we could still use the some of the equipment and stuff like that, but it got a little bit too much because I wasn't going for classes a lot. So I just kind of went to then I started getting places to develop my film for me. And at that time, I kind of just went local, which was technically in Lancaster still at the time. So, but yeah, I developed it all myself. I had people even come to me
You
because I
get the
love
chemicals and everything.
what?
You'll get the chemicals and everything.
Well, I haven't gotten chemicals in a while. It's been like I would say a good couple years since I have it, but you can still order the chemicals. Yeah, you can still order everything. There's everything still exists. Like I use a lot of from B&H Photo. They do a lot of stuff that's not just digital. They also do a lot of film stuff. But I would honestly say you just kind of have to look around to see what places are still selling it. Because you can use there's different types of chemicals you can use. I know I had people, even like teachers in different uh, academic fields, they'll go to the photo teachers and be like, hey, can y'all develop this film for me? And I got a couple teachers told people get her to do it. She knows how to develop, because I would research. I love research. I love to study. So I would be like, okay, well, this is the film that you have. This is the type of chemicals that you need to use. This is how long you got to process it. This is how long you have to do it. So I would do it for people. But yeah, you can still get all that equipment. I still have all of my darkroom equipment, and I was just going through my basement the other day, like I need to use this again.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people pay good money for photographs like that, and
Hmm.
where you actually develop them and not use the computer. So let me ask you this. So, what type of photography would you say is your genre? Is it fine art? Is it fashion? Is it something else, or what would it be?
So my passion is fine arts, nature photography. I love just my dream when I was in high school was to just travel all 50 states and literally go on a road trip all 50 states and do a scrapbook with a picture of the sky in every state. Even if it's just the clouds or if it's like the landscape of the sky, like I wanted a picture of the sky in every state. And I love, I feel like he always comes up first because his name is AA, like Ansel Adams, but like it's amazing. A lot of
They
work that
did it black and white.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like black and white, like you can take a picture of the tree, and I did that for one a project that I did. I was just taking pictures of the trees, and like you can actually see, to me, I don't know if I'm weirdo, I see personalities. I see the tree's personality, and I'm like, okay, their arm is reaching out like this and they're going like this. It looks like he is angry at that tree, or he's pissed off, or like he's happy. Like it just, to me, I like to take pictures of nature's personality, like even bugs and cameras. I did another project with my digital photography, and I just took pictures of the bugs and the nature around, and like just seeing. There's an amazing photo I did with the grasshopper on the side of a wooden bench, and the way that I messed with the color in Photoshop, and it just made him like glow like neon, you know. And I didn't do anything but do some adjustments, and it came out so good. Like I'm just, yeah, I love nature.
So with have you ever did like a exhibit of your work?
I have not. I have been asked though. Like I had a few art places, not so much as museums, but a couple art galleries that said submit some of your work. We love some of your stuff. You should do it. And I haven't, which is really sad because I need to do that. I'm always get too busy, and I'm like, oh, they asked to do that like last month, and I'm like, I'm like a busybody, so I'll move on. I'll do like 10 different things in 1 week, and then I'll be like, oh crap, I was supposed to follow through with that one thing that could have helped me put over the edge for there. But yeah, so I have submitted some of my work to different magazines, just a few. I did get one published, but I haven't put together any gallery submissions yet.
I'm going to be opening up a gallery really soon in like 2 months.
I definitely have to follow through. I got to submit some of my work to you then.
You know, my photography name is Fine Art Glam. So I used to do a lot of fine art nudes years ago. I probably have 600 fine art nudes of different people. So I'm going to start showcasing my work and setting up where people can buy the images and just having shows around my work from all the stuff I did. I mean, I got 25 years of, I think last I checked, it was like 11,000 people I photographed.
Wow,
individually.
that's a lot of work. I'd love to see that. Oh my gosh.
So right now, do you like do photo shoots with yourself or anything like that, or you know, I've seen a few models actually shoot themselves.
I would say I have done that in the past, but I haven't done that recently. I think I did that last time when I was in college, and I do have I have a wired remote, and then I have a wireless remote. So I have done that. But honestly, I would say a lot of the photo shoots that I do recently, I do more event work. Because that's honestly where a lot of where it pays is like runway shows, event spaces. I used to do a lot of the one thing that I won't do are weddings, and I say that because I need to have, I feel like, better equipment. I want to have a lot better equipment to be able to shoot that, and you also need an assistant. Like I have someone.
You always need a second shooter.
Exactly. You need 2 shooters for weddings. I mean, same with events. I do bring other people on, but I feel like weddings, I don't want to let anyone down. Like I'm very, I'm a little.
You have to be in control of the wedding.
But you got to be like perfectionist. Like I know if I do one thing, I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have gotten this. Or I should like. It's not just the event space, like the people, the party. Like it's you got to take pictures of the event. You got to pick the details, the shoes, like all that.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple of tips. With weddings, I tell people, listen, I'm not trying to compete with Uncle Bob, who's been taking pictures on the side and took everybody's family. I put Uncle Bob on my team. That's the first thing. The second thing is you get Aunt Thelma, who knows everybody in the family, to be the person to help gather everybody around. So what I do is I get the people in the family to be part of my team. So I might have 15 people that are part of the photography team. I'll meet with them and everything. And then when I go, I always ask to go to the rehearsal dinner, and I tell them I'm not going there to take pictures. Yeah. I'm going there to meet people, you know. And I also tell them I don't take pictures of people while they're eating. So during the time to eat, I'm going to eat too. Just as a courtesy, I'm going to eat too. I don't take pictures of people while. So you literally got to be in control of the whole thing. So now I don't really shoot weddings. I just shoot the bride. I tell them I got one job. I just take her pictures. That's it.
Okay.
I follow the bride. That's all.
That's where I'm a little different.
You got to hire another photographer for some of the other stuff.
Well,
I just
that's why,
find the
like,
product.
you could pay like $6,000 for a wedding, but that's the thing is like with me, when I do any work, I'm like, I'm not gonna eat. I don't sit down. People offer me drinks. I'm good. I'm here to work. That's my sole job. Once everything is done and people are starting to leave, then I'll be like, okay, I'll make a plate, but I ain't touching it. Like, it's because I like those candid photos. I like to get pictures of people so they can say, well, here's the wedding scrapbook, whereas you got the nice event photos. But then I also like to put together a behind the scenes. Like, I'm big on BTS. Like, even when I do my modeling, I take pictures of me behind the scenes because one, that helps me pose. But when I'm doing events behind the scenes, you also get the candid photos where you're like, oh, I remember that picture of so and so. They look so cute, like the kids, and the family. Like, you get more of the wholesome family photos with those candid pictures. And I like to do that. Like, I'm there before people show up and I'm there after people show up. So because I want to get people arriving and I want to get people leaving. So I don't do weddings, but I've done other big events like birthday parties, baby showers, all the other fun events with the people. And I love to get those candid photos and I love to get the detailed pictures. Like, oh, you remember we got things on the table? Like, people spend a lot of money on their events. It's not just the dresses. They're spending monies on the knickknacks, the goodie bags. And I want to get pictures of that so you don't forget it, because you're not going to have any of those in 20 years, but you'll still have all the photos.
I call events documentary photography. But what's good about that is that's when you get to meet all your future clients.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those people who call you 6 years later asking, do you still have photos of me when I was blasted? I want to show my kids. So I get a lot of that. I get at least 3 or 4 calls a month from people saying, do you still got my pictures from way back when?
Yeah, I do actually. I make a CD of all my photos. Like, now you can do in the cloud, but even Google Drive, it's like my storage space is like crazy because I do a drive link for everyone to do their photos, but then I put them on a USB for them as well. And then I also make a backup CD because I get that same thing. People are like, hey, do you got those photos when we were in college or from that event, that show? And I'm like, yes, I do. I do. Here, I'll make you a copy.
Yeah, how about that? So this actress, tell me about that. Tell me about this acting world, how long you've been acting, if you want to give that information up. Any movies, any plays, any sitcoms, commercials. Tell me about that.
Yes. So I originally started when I was kind of like in very young elementary school. I did plays and I did it with my mom, who was a minister. She got ordained when I was 7, but I've been in the church my whole life. My mom's been in the church her whole life. And she was a part of a church that had a Bible theater. So they would have church, but then during the week they would have theater shows. So I started doing theater and I just loved it. And then I stopped because I always wanted to act, but I'm gonna be honest, like, I was afraid to get into that type of industry. Like, my mom really scared me away from it because it was like, it's always demonic. And I'm like, okay. So, like, I don't want to do anything that pulls me away from God. That's how I felt. And so I actually started acting first. And I got my agency, my mother agency. I love Susan Lieberman, Barbizon Chic, my mother agency. I started working with them, I would say 2022. Like 3 years ago, and I started acting, and then they was like, oh, you should model. And I'm like, I got a couple tattoos because behind the scenes, everyone behind the scenes has tattoos. So I was big behind the scenes, behind the camera. So to me, it was like I could express art on myself, and so that's kind of what, I don't have a lot of tattoos, but I got a couple. And I know when you model, when you're acting, they want blank slates. They don't want to have to go through covering it, but I airbrush myself. Like, when I did finals for my pageantry, I airbrushed my whole body, my legs, my arms. It just looked like I did a little bit of darker because everyone did spray tan. So I was like, oh, I can get myself a spray tan when I airbrush. So I did that. But yeah, I cover my own tattoos when I model, when I act. And I started acting, I would say, professionally about 3 years ago. I have been on a couple movie sets with some very well-known people. It was really cool. I met, I did The Realtor with Lion Beckwell, and Tommy Davidson was in there. I met him. It was really fun. there is a movie coming out called Ghosted. It's funny because there's two movies I was in that were named Ghosted. The one that was in theater with I think Anika, I forget her last name, and then the guy that played Captain America. They were in that Ghosted, and I was just background. So I was in a couple of scenes as background, and then I was in this movie named Ghosted, where I was an actual supporting character. And Ray J is in this movie, Ghosted. So this one's going to be coming out in 2026. Our premiere is in January, so check out the Instagram page for that, Ghosted. And so I was the lead in a couple films that I did in Baltimore. The main one, which was my very first villain lead, was Black Thunder. So I played the villain in that. And anyone that knows me knows I'm like really nice. I would like to say that. Like, I'm not a mean person. But when I was on there, I kind of had to put on my, what they call the mom face. Like, I don't take BS from nobody. So I was just straight villain. And then I think we did Baltimore Siege, which was part 2 to Night Hall. So I think that's going to be an actual series, a TV series instead of a movie, because they're so long. So they're cutting up into different TV shows. So I played a villain in that one as well. And then I did play, I think it was, I've done some roles where, so I can't speak Spanish per se. Muy poquito. Yo entiendo muy poquito. So, but, I understand very little bit of it, but some of my roles, I had to be very fluent. So I was able to transition into that with the accent and, speak the language and stuff like that. I played roles where I had to have a North Carolina accent. I got family. My mom's side is from North Carolina. So I kind of know how to adjust to different roles and stuff, but I don't know. My dream role is to be an action star.
Okay. So tell me about Lady Fire.
Okay, yes. So that's when I perform my poetry. Lady Fire was a nickname that I got kind of like in high school, like growing up. People, how back in the day, everybody was, let me get a lighter. Well, I always had a lighter on me. I didn't let nobody keep my lighter. I just always had a light. So they said, I'm going to call you Fire. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then somebody was like, I'm going to call you Lady Fire. And I'm thinking maybe because I'm like, I'm not harsh, I'm not all like out there like, oh, I don't want to fight nobody. Like, I'm cool, I'm chill. So you
spitting fire. You about to spit some fire. Spit some fire for me.
Yeah, so they was like, we need a stage name. So I was like, I'll go with that, Lady Fire. So, but yeah, I do. So when I do my poetry, I had to learn to start repeating poems because I always want to do a new piece. Like when I write my poetry, I started writing in high school and I just would write my emotions down instead of letting it build up inside of me, So a lot of my poetry was like angry or just kind of like stuff me sad. I would just write it down. I did start writing more happy, more sensual stuff, things that, so I have what I call is the book of life, where I put all my poems in, and I'm in the process of getting it published right now.
Can you spit a little something? Can you?
Sure. Okay.
You don't got to be the long version. It can be the short version.
Yes. No. Okay. So, all right. I was trying to think about what piece. So there is one that all right. Why does hope dawn on us when our subconscious egos reminisce in the trust? No matter the goal line, where efforts just take us, yet we keep hope alive to see what we must. So no bother to take my hope, but a moment later it relights from my fight to be all right amidst the rope tied tight to dwindle my light and stay up. Circulating within my own essence against me, reminiscing the echoes of negative energy, portraying my makings of animalistic nature, yet condemning when common sense is given away. Hoping to be where I borrow, hoping to live through tomorrow. Beside those, I choose through sorrow. So that's a little teasy.
That's cool. That's cool.
My YouTube page has a lot of my work when I perform, and you can find it, Sarah E. Iaigarga. My Instagram, my YouTube page, my IMDb, all of that is my name, so it's easy to find me. And my YouTube has a lot of my
also add photos and videos and whatever information you give me so people can find you. Because YouTube now has a community area where you can post photos and stuff like that as well. So we're going to add like maybe a video. I just go to town on that page. It don't got to be my pictures. It could be any pictures, that you have from wherever, I could just kind of post that stuff or even let you post it, So this poetry is very nice. And you said you got a book you're working on?
Yes. So I have been writing since I was in high school, but I just started performing the last 2 years. I never let anyone hear my poetry or read it, but I did. And I decided to compile all of my work, and I'm developing different volumes. So the first volume they're all called The Book of Life, and the first one's volume 1. I'm developing a couple different volumes, and they're all going to be different types of the way that they're published. So one, I'm going to incorporate some of my photos, and another one's going to be shorts, and then longer pieces. So like when I do my photography, I don't like to edit my work. So when I'll sit down and put a poem together in 15, sometimes 20 minutes. It just kind of gets out how I feel at that moment. And then, I'm like, all right, I got it on paper. Now I'm moving on to another poem because this is how I feel. I have multiple emotions. Everybody can feel happy and sad at the same time. Depressed, angry, there's different concepts of anger, different concepts of sadness, so it's how I want to portray at that moment. So as soon as I get my poem down, I said, well, I can't change it. I can't alter it because that's how I felt at that moment. And I don't want to change it because at that moment, that's how I felt. And that's what I wanted to say. So
Samsung or iPhone?
What? You said iPhone?
Yeah, Samsung or iPhone?
Oh my gosh, Samsung. Yeah, so I'm an Android person. I have iPhones that I have to use for work, and I'm like, I like to download illegal torrents. I like to watch things that Apple will not let you. My brother's a big computer person, so I grew up learning how to, even in college, you could watch things that are in theater right now. And I have a couple apps on my phone that I can watch something that's literally just got released or is getting released, but Apple won't let you watch it because of security. So I don't like all that extra security, but you just gotta be careful you don't crash your phone.
Sneakers or shoes?
So that's a hard one, honestly, because I say I like my Converse. But at the same time, I'll have different types of sneakers, but I don't be wearing them. It all depends on how I feel for that outfit. I would say shoes, honestly. I only wear heels when I model. I like boots.
What's in your model bag?
Oh my gosh. I got stuff that I know designers might need. A little sewing kit. People are like, oh, I need a sewing kit. I need a roller. I got you. Don't worry. So I got spray on deodorant. You got to be careful with that. I got oil. I got hair stuff, brush, a comb. I got my, what is it? I got different types of stuff for your nipples, the lifts, the covers, all that stuff. You got to do the strapless. I got my little bag that has my strapless bras, the different types of underwear, thong, regular underwear. I got a black bathing suit that I just keep with me in case you need it. Sometimes I was like, I got this jacket I want to show off. What?
In case you gotta be Catwoman real quick.
Yes, I got everything in my model bag. I really do, and then I bring my whole suitcase of different shoes. I got one color of every shoe, depending because even when you go to a fitting, it could be like, oh, I got this shoe. And I don't know how many times I go to a show and there's another designer that's like, hey, can you walk for me? I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, guess what? I don't know what type of shoe I need for their outfit. So I'll always bring my shoe bag with everything. I keep a white shoe and a black sneaker and a white sneaker only to model in. They're not getting dirty because I don't wear them for anything else. They're all straight white, brand new off the shelf white. And I've had them for 2 years that I only use for when I model. Same thing with the black sneakers. And all that stuff. I don't wear my model shoes for anything other than a runway. They're specifically for that.
3 artists that's on your playlist.
So I listen to Christian hip hop. I don't listen to secular music anymore, but I can give you some artists from back in the day. So back in the day, I love Nas. I would say Eve. Oh my gosh, that was my girl. And oh my gosh, there's a couple, but I'm like, who could? Oh, Nelly. That was a big guy. He was my first. He was my very first. What do you call it? Concert that I went to. But now that I listen to, three artists that I like are I mean, some of his songs are great. Lecrae, I don't like all his music, but there is one song that really speaks to me. Deep End, that's a really good one. Another one is Childlike Cece. She is an amazing Christian hip hop artist. And then 1K Few. Oh, I love 1K Few. He is so awesome.
Give me your two favorite movies that you don't mind watching over and over again.
Over and over. Oh my gosh. All right. So it would have to be Matrix, the first one. I've seen that like so many times. That was my favorite movie. It still is my favorite movie to this day. Let's see. Another one. I'm really big into like kid movies. Like I love watching like animation and stuff like that. But I would say another one that I can't get enough of other than a Matrix would be, that's a hard pick. Like I watch a lot of movies.
That's all good. What's your dream car?
Like I don't know. I feel like it's hard for me to pick like just like one movie that's like my favorite. But I gotta say without a question, it's always gonna be The Matrix.
Dream car.
My dream car. So it was always a pink Cadillac convertible. It still is to this day.
They make convertible Cadillacs?
They're old school. They're not. It's a classic. It's a classic. They don't even make them anymore. And I'm talking about my other dream car, and I like it before they changed the symbol, was a Jaguar. There wasn't one specifically. I just always wanted a Jaguar.
You're a car person or a truck person? Or SUV?
I would say I'm more of a car person because I like to drive fast. And we go around a curve in a truck, you gotta go slow. So I have a left foot, so I'm a big car person. And I drive a lot. I love to travel. If I could drive for everywhere, I would. So I like the small cars. I can just hop in and go.
Thank you for coming. I would definitely drop all your information in the end. If there's anything else you want to add to this, please do. Got anything you want to say?
Really, if anyone wants to connect with me, you can definitely hit up my pages, DM me, and I'll follow you back. You can find me on my Instagram, even my TikTok, even Facebook, my YouTube, IMDb, all of that by my government name, Sarah, Sarahe, and then Iaigarga, Arriaga. Hit me up, find me, follow me, DM me, and I'll follow you back. If you have any questions, please hit me up. I'll be the best as I can to help you out.
Say your bye like that. Say thank you for watching the Calvin Child Show, and you stay on. All right. Yeah. Okay. So it was